What's going on, everybody? This is Primetime James Thomas coming to another video. And before I get started with this video, I want to give a shout out to all the subscribers and for all the love and support for this channel. Greatly appreciate it. If you really want to support the channel, please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And also, do not be afraid to share this video as well. And if you want to support this channel, you can donate to our official Cash App, PrimePod313. Again, that is PrimePod313, where any donation will greatly be appreciated. And tonight I want to talk about a very interesting situation. Well, not really interesting, because this is news that we've been hearing about this particular individual for quite a while now. For those who may not know, AEW had its All-In pay-per-view over at Wembley Stadium over this past Sunday. And I thought the show was a mixed bag for me. Really, the three matches I would suggest to honestly check out from that show: Toni Storm and Mariah May. I thought they had a great match, told a great story. Didn't really dig the goofy stuff that they were doing in the match that they had to throw in there. The whole spot where they kick each other in the crotch, and Mariah May pretty much being a cartoon villain, slapping her mom for no reason at all. And I don't necessarily know if I would have had Mariah May beat Toni 100% clean like that. But overall, I thought the match was really good, told a really good story, and it was one of the better matches of the night. Then the second match I would recommend is Will Ospreay and MJF. It was a good match. I mean, of course, it's Will Ospreay, and MJF is going to show up whenever he needs to. But it just doesn't feel as special because we've seen them wrestle already on free TV for over an hour. And it's like, it could have been more special if they say that for pay-per-view for All In at the biggest show of the year, in my opinion. But it was still a good match. And then, of course, you had Swerve Strickland, Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson defeated Swerve Strickland and to become the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. And I thought it was a fantastic match. Definitely Swerve's best match in this title run. And Bryan Danielson, come on, what more can we say about Bryan Danielson that isn't already said? One of the greatest wrestlers, arguably the greatest wrestler of this generation. So it was a great match. But it was really those three matches I would recommend. Now you probably ask yourself, James, what about one of the marquee matches that they had on the show? And that is Mercedes Moné, aka Sasha Banks, and Brit Baker. Well, to be honest, the reason why I'm not going to bring that match up is because I thought the match wasn't good. In fact, I'm going to be honest, I thought it was trash. We're going to have to stop with this Mercedes Moné narrative. She's not good. She's not a good performer. And this AEW run kind of has shown that she's not the talent that everybody has gassed her up to be. Some may say that Britt Baker was sandbagging Mercedes Moné. It wouldn't surprise me that Britt Baker may have not made it easier for Mercedes, but I just don't see what y'all see. However, though, Britt Baker had her match with Mercedes Moné, and it was what it was. But the biggest news connecting to Britt Baker, what everyone's talking about, is Jamie Hayter made her return to All In, and she did not come out to help out Britt Baker. Now, Jamie Hayter made her return to All In on the pre-show. I think it was some sort of situation where Saraya was on the pre-show. She had an open challenge, and Jamie Hayter answered the challenge, which led to Saraya, doing that work shoot promo at the media scrum. That's why it shows how much they value Saraya. It's all in Wembley in London, but they put her on the pre-show. That tells you something right there. But Jamie Hayter came out. Now, you probably ask yourself, okay, James, why is that a big deal? Why is that a point of discussion? Because Jamie Hayter was the former AEW Women's Champion. He lost to Toni Storm, I believe, at All Out last year. And she's been gone for over a year due to injuries, right? Now, when Jamie Hayter was the AEW Women's Champion, Brit Baker was her partner. They were a duo for quite some time there. And it seemed like they were telling the story. Well, not telling the story, but the fans were kind of thinking that, Britt Baker's eventually going to be jealous of Jamie Hayter being the champion. She's going to eventually turn on her. Little did we know that it wasn't just a work, it's a shoot. Because Jamie Hayter apparently does not want anything to do with Britt Baker. If you think we're going to get a match between Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter, it's not going to happen because apparently there's legit heat between these two. And shout out to Sean Ross Sapp. Sean Ross Sapp apparently reported on this. Now, I will say what you want to say about Sean Ross Sapp, but at least Sean Ross Sapp is the more trustworthy of the wrestling journalists. He actually fact checks his sources. He doesn't straight out lie like Dave Meltzer does. But apparently, during that whole time they were a team, apparently Britt Baker got jealous of Jamie Hayter and her position in the company. And Jamie Hayter got word of this, and she wants nothing to do with Britt Baker. Now, you may say, well, James, why is that a big deal? It's two women in the workplace that don't like each other. What else is new? Yeah, you're right, but here's the thing when it comes to Britt Baker. I find it very interesting that Britt Baker, who is an AEW original, somehow, some way, just happens to have her name involved in the drama in the AEW locker room. Now, I'm going to say this. What I'm saying could be 100% false. It could be this is all alleged. All this stuff that I'm going to say has probably never happened. I will say that right here. I could be 1% lying. And it all could be rumors, all could be speculation, it all could be BS. But you gotta understand that there is an old saying that wherever there's smoke, there's fire. And anytime there's drama in the locker room, Britt Baker's name always pops up. Now, Britt Baker, when she first came into AEW, he was supposed to be the face of the women's division. See, the Brit Baker DMD character that we know now wasn't Brit Baker initially. She was supposed to be the smiley, happy, all-American girl babyface, right? She was pretty much going to be the Kylie Ray before Kylie Ray left the company. And fans weren't messing with it. They weren't rocking with it. She was getting booed. And credit to Brit Baker, she played into that. She started cutting more heel promos with Tony Schiavone. Actually, to her credit, some very damn good heel promos. I will give Britt Baker this. She can cut a great heel promo. And then this is where she got injured, and she became the role model, and then she became the DMD set character. And it worked. But somewhere along the way, I like to believe that Britt Baker's ego got inflated. She got big-headed. He let the fans and Tony Khan and Dave Meltzer gas her up. What I started to notice about Britt Baker was the match with Thunder Rosa. That street fight, which in hindsight didn't make any sense because they were only feuding for like a couple weeks, and it had a blow off match involving blood and all that stuff. Only 2 weeks in the feud didn't make any sense to me. And I will never forget this. She had a good, really entertaining match with Thunder Rosa. You know, it had the iconic image of Brit Baker with blood coming down her face. And she went backstage and said, I hope Meltzer sees this. I hope he gives me 5 stars. That's when I kind of started to kind of be on Brit Baker. And thus, that's when the bullshit starts. We've been hearing rumors. I don't know if it's even rumors. Like, it's a fact that Brit Baker and Thunder Rosa did not get along. It got so bad, Thunder Rosa damn near ran from AEW. Apparently, she fell into a pretty deep depression because of the drama that was happening in that locker room due to Brit Baker. Brit Baker pretty much played politics on LuFisto. When LuFisto was talking about how he was had a bad experience over at AEW, and it was pretty much Brit Baker that was playing politics on her. Brit Baker just came back, and she's already starting drama with MJF. When Brit Baker was complaining about the match time MJF and Will Ospreay had, she was talking shit, and then MJF's fiance Alicia brought this to MJF, and MJF went and called to confront Brit about it, where he got so mad he punched the wall. Hell, I'm even hearing rumors, again, this is all alleged, but apparently Brit Baker is the reason that Cody Rhodes left AEW, because it's starting to leak out now that Brit Baker and Brandy Rhodes had a problem backstage. Brit Baker and Brandy Rhodes had a beef. Cody Rhodes went to Tony Khan to tell him to go fix it. And Tony Khan took Brit Baker's side, and that's what pretty much got the ball rolling to get Cody back to WWE. Because, and by the way, I think for the longest time, I think Tony Khan had a crush on Brit Baker. That's why he put all his eggs into the Brit Baker train until, obviously, better talent came in. But don't you just find it just weird that Brit Baker is the common denominator of all this drama that's being reported about AEW? Now, if this is true, if all this stuff is true, again, this all could be alleged, this all could be rumors, but if this is true, then Brit Baker is everything that they accuse CM Punk of being. Now, the difference is with CM Punk, despite how you may feel about him, he is actually a big name in wrestling. He actually is a big star in wrestling. No disrespect to Brit Baker, but what has Brit Baker done to have such a very egotistical, narcissistic, entitled attitude that she apparently has? Some people compare her to Charlotte. At least Charlotte is a big name in wrestling. What has Brit Baker done? And I'm even hearing that apparently that Mariah May, who was the new AEW Women's Champion, don't like her. And this is dating back to their indie days. Whether there's smoke, there is fire. And I'm starting to think that Brit Baker is toxic in that locker room. Brit Baker strikes me as someone who once again came into AEW with a chip on her shoulder, got everything. She was spoiled. Tony Khan spoiled her. She got gassed up. Her ego got gassed up. And this is what we're getting. If she was jealous because of Jamie Hayter's success, that tells me that Brit Baker cannot stand anybody else getting attention but her. She can't stand it. She comes across as very insecure, very sociopathic, very narcissistic. I'm willing to bet that's how Jamie Hayter heard about Brit Baker. Because I'm going to assume Brit Baker was probably talking shit about Jamie Hayter. When they were together as a duo, Jamie Hayter got word of this, and Jamie Hayter said, fuck you, I don't want to work with you. Because it's very strange how the story had it set up that, remember that Brit in the storyline where Mercedes Moné keeps getting outnumbered with Camille and Mercedes, you would think, oh, Jamie Hayter's going to come in and be her backup. No, not even the case. They didn't even have an angle. They didn't even try to go the whole Brit Baker turns on Jamie Hayter when Jamie Hayter had her last match. They didn't even try to make it to an angle because Jamie Hayter apparently didn't want to do it. It's like if you're a girl, if you're a female, and you've had like 3, 4, 5 different boyfriends, and every single one of those boyfriends have something bad to say about you. What does that say about you? I'm sorry, y'all. But Brit Baker, with her attitude, should have been released by now. She has had plenty of chances, and she just always finds herself to be causing trouble. If that is true that she ran Cody off, if she leaves AEW, goes to WWE, it's probably going to be pretty tough. Because Cody has kind of got some pretty good pull in WWE, for what I've heard. And let's be honest, it's not like Brit Baker needs the money, okay? She really doesn't need to do this wrestling shit. She has her own dentistry. She's working 2 jobs. She really doesn't need wrestling. So maybe that may be where the entitlement comes from. You know, that I'm an original. I built this division. I worked my ass off. But women like Jamie Hayter and Toni Storm are going to come in and usurp me? Well, yeah, Britt, it's going to happen. Especially Toni Storm. Toni Storm is 20 times better than Brit Baker, especially this current version of Toni Storm. Jamie Hayter is another one. Willow Nightingale is another one. It seems like to me Britt cannot take not being the center of attention. That's the business, Britt. You either just adapt or perish. That's the wrestling business as a whole. And especially considering that apparently that Adam Cole broke up with Brit Baker. Word is that Brit Baker and Adam Cole are not together anymore. Apparently Adam Cole broke up with her. Got the hell away from her as quickly as possible. Maybe it's a you problem. This is what happens when you spoil a child and they grow up to be an entitled human being. This is what happens. But hey, as long as she gets her 5-star from Dave Meltzer and the internet crowd kisses her ass, she's not going to change. I don't see her being humbled anytime soon. But let me know what you guys' thoughts. How y'all feel about this Britt Baker situation with Jamie Hayter? Do you guys believe all this stuff about Britt Baker is true? Do you think it's all rumors, speculation? Do you think there's some smoke to the fire? Let me know what you guys' thoughts. Hit that like and subscribe button. I will talk to y'all later, and I am out. Peace.